All right, guys, welcome back to another lesson for Math 8. Today we're going to do lesson 112, ratios and side lengths of right triangles. It's an important lesson because it's going to be we're gearing ourselves to go towards trigonometry, which is a very important math. It's going to be sine, cosine, tangent. That's going to be lesson 118, so it's 6 lessons after this. And we're so close to being done with the book. So let's get into the lesson about ratios of side lengths of right triangles. So it has to do with right triangles. We're going to start talking about that. All right. So let's get into the lesson. All right. So before we actually get into any examples, we're going to talk about a right triangle right here. Obviously beautifully drawn like always. Such an artist. Thanks. So the hypotenuse, right? So we have the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse is always going to be the side that's opposite or the other, the opposite from the right angle, right? So that's very important because today we're going to talk about certain terminology that you must know. Terminology means terms. Terms obviously mean words, so you have to know. So the first thing is that we're going to talk about this triangle in reference to an angle. So we're going to see it from a specific angle. And that angle that we're going to be talking about right now is going to be A. Okay, you have to be paying a lot of attention because I'm going to talk about it in 2 different perspectives. In the perspective of angle A and in the perspective of angle B. All right, so please pay attention. So the first one is in perspective to angle A. So if we are talking about the triangle in perspective to the angle A, there's 2 sides that I haven't labeled or said anything about. Obviously, you do know that it's side AC and side BC or CB. It doesn't really matter. But the important part here is that you understand that A has to do something with BC. All right, so what is the relationship between BC and side A? Angle A, sorry. Side BC and angle A. The relationship is that A would actually be opposite. The opposite side to angle A is side BC because it's opposite. I mean, that's a preposition. Preposition means opposite, right? They're words. Prepositions are words that can tell us location according to the perspective of something, like next or on top or underneath, or those are prepositions. So that's a important preposition here, opposite. It's something that you don't really use a lot in English, and it's not one of the prepositions that you usually just jump into your mind when you talk about English, but opposite is one that we're going to use in math. So angle A, the opposite is side BC. And now we're going to talk about angle A and this side AC because they're next to, and yet in math we don't talk about next, so we talk about adjacent. And the best example that I can give you about adjacent is right next to each other. And so it's close like the desks. The desks in your classroom, the way that they were connected, they were adjacent. Like, for example, Luisa's and Scotty's desk were adjacent, and Scotty's with Sammy's desk were adjacent, and Andrew's with David's was adjacent, and Andrew's with Deborah's was adjacent. So all of those are adjacent, meaning that they're literally touching next to each other, right? That's what adjacent means in this. And this is also another preposition. And so this side is adjacent to angle A, and this other side is opposite to angle A. So it is important for us to understand that we're talking about it from the perspective of angle A. Then we say that side BC is the opposite. And with the perspective of angle A, we're going to say that side AC is adjacent. All right, this is really important for you to know. All right, so that's really important from perspective of angle A. Now let's move to perspective of angle B. And let's get that one out of there. My handy dandy new eraser. Just good old paper towels. We have to erase this. We have to erase this. We have to erase these. And these as well. All right, so angle B. We're going to use the same prepositions. The prepositions were opposite side and adjacent side. So the opposite side of angle B would be AC. This is the opposite. And this would be the adjacent, meaning the right next to it. The one that is obviously right next to it. So the opposite is going to be AC. The adjacent is going to be BC. Right? That's what you need to know. Opposite and adjacent according to a specific angle. Now, pay attention though. The hypotenuse will always remain the hypotenuse, and that's it. Now, before I move on to the examples, I have noticed something that is a little bit worrying, and that is that you guys are not watching the videos. And I don't mean everybody, I mean most people aren't watching the videos. The reason I know this is because I have 14 students in the class, and the views in the videos are about 6 or less. Maybe gets to 7. At the beginning, everybody was watching them, but now it has stopped. And it's very worrying, because then what's the point of me doing the videos? I already know this stuff. I'm just wasting my time doing nothing. And so, because I don't know who's watching them or not, I can't really punish those who aren't. But I can reward the ones that are doing so, that are watching them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reward you. And from now on, I'm going to do this in random videos at random times in the video. I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually give you an opportunity to get bonus points. And this is very rare, because in math, I usually never give bonus points unless it's with a coin flip or something like that. And it's just like once. And that's it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give 3 bonus points for the next test for those of you who answer a question in the YouTube comments down below. Okay, YouTube. It has to be in the YouTube site. So if you answer what your favorite color is, I'm going to give you bonus points. But that's not everyone. It's the five first people that do it. All right, 5 first people to comment down below their favorite color, they will get bonus points. Okay. Now, what if you do watch the videos, but you didn't watch it in between the time that it was released and the first 5 people that told me what I wanted to know, the colors? You can actually get 2 bonus points by going to Google Classroom, and where I post the video just answering this very simple question. What is your favorite animal? And I'm going to change the questions, and they're going to be very easy questions to answer. But the reason I'm doing this is so I know that you guys are watching the videos. And also, obviously, bonus points for you guys. So it helps you. It helps me to know who's actually watching the videos. And trust me, I already did this with the 7th graders and the 9th graders. I kind of already know who's been watching. Now, huge disclaimer. You could go, if you watch the video and you get the bonus points, you could go and tell everybody in the 8th grade to watch the videos, but then you would also kind of risk the chance of them taking away the bonus points that you could have gotten from watching the videos. So that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you not to share with them. I'm not going to tell you to share with them. But trust me, I mean, it's going to be 8 people that have a chance to get bonus points. But in my Algebra 1 class, out of 8 people that could have gotten points, only 3 got points. And then in my 7th grade class, 5 people got points. So, I mean 6 people got points. So it depends. That was for one video. For another video, I already have 5 on one. I'm waiting to see what happens in the other. So I'm going to be doing this from now on, because it's just a good way for me to see that I'm doing this, because I do spend a lot of time in my basement doing this videos and doing all this thing for you guys, and I feel like I'm not getting rewarded. So I just want to know. I just want to be honest, and the other reason I'm doing it is because I'm almost done. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things. But yeah, I'm going to see what happens. So let's actually move on to example number 1 here. Okay, so first example, we have 2 triangles. They're different, and we are supposed to find the ratio of the length according to angle A and according to angle X. All right, So part A in example 1 is to find the ratio of the length of the side opposite angle A to the length of the hypotenuse. So opposite side of A would be 3 because of what we just discussed not very long ago. So that would be angle A is 3 over 5, right? Because the opposite would be 3, the hypotenuse is 5, okay? So it's 3/5 or 0.6. That's a ratio, right? What about angle X? Well, the opposite would be 6, and the hypotenuse is 10. So 6 over 10, 0.6. So then we can actually tell that these two triangles are similar because they have the same ratio for the opposite over the hypotenuse. The opposite over the hypotenuse would be 0.6 for both of them. And that is the first example of this lesson 112. Okay, in example 2, we have this triangle RTS. It's a right triangle because it has to be right triangles. And so they ask us all in reference to angle R. Okay, and so they ask you which side is adjacent to angle R. Well, we don't know, or the opposite. We do know ST. Not that we don't know adjacent. Adjacent is RT, but we don't know the actual number for it. So in here, we know that it's 1 because it would be side ST. Okay, so then we have to ask, what is the length of RT? To find RT, obviously, we're going to do Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared is going to be 1 squared plus B squared because we don't know what B is. But C squared is going to be 2 squared because C is the hypotenuse and we know that it's 2. So it's going to be 1 plus B squared equals 4. Then we're going to subtract 1 on both sides. It's going to be B squared equals 3. Square root both sides. B equals square root of 3. This is square root of 3. Okay? I'm just going to check that the glare is not interfering too much. Thank you. I mean, my parents had the brilliant idea of washing all the curtains in the basement. So there's no way I can block the windows anymore. And the sun is doing what the sun does, which is shining. And that's where the glare comes from. I don't have any curtains or anything like that to be able to cover it. Anyway, that I was just digressing. So this was square root of 3. And so adjacent would be square root of 3, which is side RT. And then they ask us, what is the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent? Okay, so the opposite side is 1. The adjacent is square root of 3. So that's 1 over square root of 3, which is about, in your book, they actually did it with a calculator. It's about 0.577. For now, it's okay if you actually put 1 over square root of 3. I know that your book put square root of 3 over 3, but that, I think, is less than 120 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's less than 120. So I don't know why they do it like they jump the gun because we're in 112. We're still 8 lessons left to go. But yeah, that's it. So this is example 2. Let's move on then to the last example, example number 3. Quick correction. That was the last example that we had here. I'm sorry, is because my book has a little typo in example 2 where there's no question. So that's why I don't know what the question was asking. I know what the answer was. But that's why we're broken down like that. So thank you for watching, and then I'll see you in lesson 113. 8 more lessons to go. Woohoo!